giving Inax a lot of resources. They play a lot of these hyper scaling AD carries. It's one of his most played, if not his most played. They will actually pick up the Renata. So I think what this says to me is they're happy with whatever AD carry they want. They just want to make sure that they have that 2v2 with the Renata down there in the bottom side. And also, when you have the Vi already set up, normally you want to follow those engages. If you know from the get-go that Schalke are going to be trying to follow up with this Vi, the Renata ultimate can be great at disengaging some of those tools.
Absolutely, and it felt like that first pick Vi might have thrown a little bit of a curveball at GW, but they are a team who over in the LFL are known as an incredible, like, big brain thinking team, and they took their time, and it feels like they've kind of collected themselves out of that. The Renata, very, very solid support in team fighting. Most of the meta is scaling into team fighting, so Renata going to do incredibly well on that front. The Zinzao, like you said, able to match that Vi over in the jungle role, and now we're seeing the Fresh and the Felios get picked up, so they've got the engage side with the Vi, they've got safety with the Fresh, with the Lantern for that Aphelios. I really like what Schalke are starting to put together here, and now it's on GW to find some kind of an answer out here. Are they going to look to pick an AD carry up? I assume so, because otherwise they're going to see all of the other priority AD carries just get banned away, so they lock in that Jinx there, deciding Zeri, they just don't want to do it. The point and click is too scary.
Yeah, they are going to go towards that Jinx. Of course, feels like we're back in spring, apparently, with the Jinx Felios meta. Thresh, first time here this split for Lilith. So Schalke showing different colors here. But again, you know, a Felios Thresh is a very neutral lane. You don't really have to do too much. You can play it very defensive. You can play it very aggressive in the lane. And I think when you've got the Vice out there, you're likely going to be looking to try and go for some of these more aggressive plays. We'll see what Schalke want to try and prioritize, though. It definitely does seem to me that, you know, yes, they have Takes and Lilith, who are very, very capable laners. But if you look towards the top side, they have Jaeger, who was on that X7 roster from Spring, who a lot of people outside of the NLC as well expected to make deep runs. Of course, that didn't quite come to fruition, but also Decay, spoken quite highly of in the Prime League as well, one of their you know, top premier mid laners. So I think there's a lot still to work for here on the GameWard side as the bandits start to come through. A lot of mid lane focus, as you'd expect. Shekalad, we kind of know him as one of those mechanical mids, very capable, of course, of by playing, you know, things like the Azirs, the Corkis, the Victors, but very much capable on the opposite side of picking up these assassins as well, like the Aurelia, like the Akali, which has been banned away from him.
It does feel like GameWard are putting a lot of thought into every step of this draft phase. They do take their time. They run down the timer as much as possible, taking away this LeBlanc, taking away Decay from picking up these kind of mechanical skill check mid laners, but also the LeBlanc is a champion that pairs up incredibly well with that Vi. You get a great, you know, 2v2, depending on obviously what game will pick up, but you do have that ability just to play mid-jungle and really set up the map for success. So just don't want to deal with that, taking that away. And the Aurelia going to be the final ban here from Schalke. Now we'll see where GameWard want to look to try and prioritize. Do they just go for something that can sit on the top lane on an island, you know, your GPs, your Sejuanis, things like that, or they just want to go towards mid lane and set Chekalad up for as comfortable a lane as he can possibly get himself?
I think it just makes sense to go towards the Azir. You've got the late game setup ready from the Renata, from the Jinx. Pick up the Azir, give yourself more zoning tools to sort of deal with this Aphelios, and more disengage tools to also deal with the Vi diving onto either yourself or your Jinx. Now it's kind of over to Decay in terms of what he still wants to go towards. The Silas is up and available. It's been a very common answer into this Azir quite frequently over the last couple of weeks. Definitely risen in high priority because there's just so many champions which have strong ultimates. But it seems like we're going to get a more sort of utility focused draft here from Schalke with this Karma being locked in. So just looking mostly to answer the priority in the mid lane, sort of shove, move with Elite Joint here from the mid lane and see what he can get done as a duo. Now it's over to Jaeger to try and blind pick. Loads of options still up and available.
Oh, that's
okay,
nasty.
This could be interesting.
Wait, is this going to be Karma top?
It's technically still a flex because Melanie could pick up something, well, going towards something like the Nars a little bit risky, but he definitely wanted a frontliner that engages. Now with the Silas locked in, a lot of those, you know, big ultimates, you're pretty much just risking giving over to this Silas. And Silas, one-to-one, has pretty good matchups of all of those if they want to send it top, but also Silas has a good matchup into the mid lane anyway. So we'll see what the option is. I think if we get the Sejuani locked in, which just does make a whole bunch of sense, we should expect to see Jaeger piloting this Karma. So definitely a pretty big curveball thrown out last second there by Schalke. It's the first Karma game, I believe, that they've played all split long. So a lot of new things coming out of the gate here. Of course, new patch for Schalke. Only played on 12-13, didn't play in, didn't have to go through the play-ins rather. So haven't had that 12-15 experience on stage just yet. GameWard, however, a little more experience under their belt. Very interesting drafts to get ourselves off of the second half of the day.
But wait, hold on. Elite Joint's playing lane.
Oh.
Jaeger's got smite, so he's playing the Vi here. Okay. So, I mean, there's still flexibility around these top three. Obviously, Jaeger is definitely going jungle. That's locked in. But that is a bit of a curveball throwing in, just deciding that top's going to go jungle and jungle's going to go top or mid. We'll find out when we get onto the Rift. That's an interesting one.
For confirmation, I don't know why I didn't know this. Jaeger, of course, is traditionally the top laner.
Yeah.
Isma is their jungler. Isma was not in that draft.
Yes.
I don't know why it's taken me to the end of the draft to realize, but that's what we have going on here. So Elite Joint, I believe, is their substitute support, hence the Karma pick. So we'll see what ends up happening. I apologize. We're good casters and notice everything that happens all the time. I promise you.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Well, we are on to the Rift for our 4th game of the day here at the Amazon EU Masters. It looks like GameWard are just grouping up, potentially expecting some kind of play to come out from the side of Schalke, but Schalke are just going to hold fast for now.
Very interesting. All right. So no early game shenanigans, though GameWard was definitely expecting some. But as we were kind of alluding to, GameWard typically not the most active early game team, and I think the draft kind of spells that. They've got the Azir, they've got the Jinx. They could be very, very comfortable just sitting on their hands, getting to a point where they're very happy to play out team fights, likely front to back. But when you've got, Xin Zhao, Sejuani playing into Karma top, it can be very, very easy setup to get on top of her and try and get a snowball going between the top jungle. We'll see what they want to get done though, as GameWard do traditionally like to just kind of funnel resources into Inax, however and whenever they can. And we'll see how Schalke are going to kind of adapt in this opening game, of course, with this role swap / substitution at the same time.
We're seeing Decay has gone to mid lane, so they've sent Elite Joint up to the top side on this Karma. I assume it's just more of a neutralizing role here, just going to look to try and catch as many waves as possible and just be here to basically buff up Takeset, be the shield bot while Fresh can be the peel bot for him, and just really set Takeset off to kind of take over this game. But this does mean, and as you can see, Jaeger is clearing downwards through the jungle, so he will play towards the bot side. So maybe expect to see something early out of the side of Schalke and just try and funnel some of this power into Takeset as quick as possible.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's going to be portal call here. Have that Karma in the top side. She's going to get to a point where she's going to provide a whole bunch of shielding, a whole bunch of annoyance for GameWard at one point or another. Just go and put your eggs in that Takeset basket. A lot of setup in the mid lane though. With the K into that mid lane matchup, you can get very aggressive. Speaking of getting pretty aggressive, it seems like actually be Akabane on the opposite side, looking to get on top of Jaeger here on his red buff. Jaeger played his full top side, hasn't actually finished taking down this red buff. And there's smite available on both ends, but it's first move from the GameWard bottom side, so expect this red buff goes over 10.
Yeah, Jaeger's just going to have to give up that red, and actually with 3 members about, there is a world where this could get really hairy for them. Going to clear out this ward though, just to make sure that Jaeger not going to get jumped on. It will at least get some of his camp here. I believe he's losing chickens as well at the same time, so he's losing out pretty heavily off that play. As we cut over to the top side, both just going to lock each other in place. Melanic going to trade out fairly equally there with Elite Joint on this Karma on the top side. And it's kind of on eyes on Decay for me, at least in this kind of like earlier stages of the game, especially only 2 levels away until he gets that hijack. And at that point, there is a lot of good ultimates. I don't think there's a bad ultimate for him to click on right now. Obviously, the Renata hostile takeover is the best. Yes.
Yeah.
But there's not a bad one.
No.
It's not like a Darius dunk or something.
No, there's setup, there's disengage. The only real kind of near pointless one is pretty much Inax's ult, but when you have 4 champions still off cooldown, normally you're not going to have to steal it away unless you absolutely need to for a little bit of damage output. So like you say, strong choices. Why it made so much sense to go towards it. And now Jaeger probably wanted to just look for a reset in that bush if he didn't actually end up finding Melanic. So just going to send him further back. And both will likely look to reset.
Gives a little bit of time over to Elite Joint in this top side. He can kind of just get the wave in the state he wants to before going for his own reset. Has still got his teleport. Melanic is going to be using his teleport to get into this top side. As we kind of expected, definitely a slower start to the game. You have picked up the Aphelios, you have got the Jinx, and you have got obviously these scaling options. But Camillus is going to take an Ignite and a hook to the face. So pretty rough trade for them there. Did have to burn the flash as well. So Schalke can be happy with that one at least for now. As Decay getting pretty heavily shoved in by Checkerlad on this Azir, as you kind of expect from the Azir. Obviously, just kind of just get to a point where he's going to be able to heavily shove in the wave as much as possible. Melanic just going to try and pull the wave and stop everyone getting to that tower, just to kind of force Elite Joint to play this wave a little bit further up in the lane than you'd like to. And with Akabane up there as well, this could be a little bit scary for Elite Joint now to play this top side.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things when you have Sejuani in the top lane, all of these melee junglers that have auto attack resets. Xin Zhao, Viego's another good one, Wukong as well. So easy to stack up the permafrost, so easy to get locked down on Elite Joint. He really wants to try and get this wave in. It's kind of overextended for him. He could be in trouble now.
Oh, he can pay the price. Does dodge away on the W, but Akabane flashes in and locks him down for the knockup. The tether means he can't get permafrosted. Meanwhile, a hook comes in onto the Renata. Lilith able to find a beautiful one, and that is first blood to Decay.
Really nice from the mid lane setup there. Lilith just gets a little moment to slip up towards that mid lane. With the help of Jaeger, will take down Prey, find first blood. Really nice stuff. Thresh is just not a champion you see too frequently these days in the mirror at the moment. You can see Lilith just here. Brings in Jaeger with that landing. We didn't quite get to see the first part of the setup. Maybe he was looking for Checkerlad, guys. I'm not too sure, but he finds looking for Camillus either way. Yeah, you know what? Big brain. He finds Camillus. No flash. And, just easy pickings. Really great stuff. And Thresh is not really a champion you get to practice against too often these days, of course.
Yeah.
Historically, he's, you know, been pretty damn present in the competitive meta. But definitely this season, it feels like fallen out of favor for other engaged champions, for other, you know, full enchanters. I think that's always been the thing about Thresh. He's kind of the jack of all trades, master of none. When you're in a meta where you need to be a master of one or the other, it feels like he's definitely suffered a little bit on that front. As Akabane actually got that smite. He's out on that one. Jaeger won't quite find his skull crab. Looks like he'll be going back to base.
Yeah, this slows down his 6 a little bit, but nothing too major there. This is Schalke, who are the second seed from the Prime League versus obviously GameWard. GameWard are a team who have been interesting because domestically they were doing good. But towards the end of the split, they fell out from second into fourth at the end of the regular split. So it really didn't go as hot as maybe they would like to have. So I feel like, you know, from a region that is very prestigious and, you know, KC aren't here. So they want to kind of keep up that regional pride for themselves and for all of France. But for GameWard, you know, there's a little bit of pride on the line here because they're a team who domestically were looking a lot hotter than they were by the end of everything. So, you know, they really want to try and bounce back and have had to really prove themselves by going through that play-in stage as well. So GameWard, you know, there's a lot on the line here for them, and losing early is going to be, you know, a bad loss for them. Obviously, we talked about it with the Giants' victory over Zero Tenacity. This is another group that looks pretty scary as well. You've got the first seed from the NLC, Dusty. You've got Matchco as well. You know, there's only 2 people who can get out of this group at the end of next week.
Yeah, I think definitely illustrated quite well earlier on, but we'll talk about that in a second. So there's no flash on the Elite Joint.
Oh, he down.
That's mighty unfortunate, but that is just the life of playing a mobile flashless target against Sejuani plus a very melee attack heavy jungler. And yeah, as we were saying, yeah, like you say, I think it was illustrated quite well. There isn't really much a group of like Schalke, but I think if there is maybe one that you can look towards, it could potentially be this group compared to others. I think just because the other groups look so damn stacked that this one in comparison maybe seems a little less threatening, but it's still threatening in all its own right. Like you say, the expectations still pretty high for just about every team inside of this group regardless, right? LFL representative, Schalke, definitely want to go far. First seeds from 2 different regions. Didn't be caught out here, but I think we should be able to walk this one out. So yeah, still a stacked group either way.
Just about able to get away from that one, but feels like the brakes have been put on a little bit. We're approaching that 10-minute mark. The gold lead is pretty much dead even. It's just ticked over a little bit in the favor of Schalke, but very, very close. Just 200 gold between these 2 teams. And so far, just 1 kill apiece. First blood did go over to Decay, and Decay's definitely a mid laner to watch. If you haven't really heard of this guy, he's someone who, as Jamada was saying, a lot of kind of top tier players really rate him over in EU as like a really solid mid laner. And there's a lot of veterans in this game right now. Most of the players here have played at EU Masters before, have been around in the ERL scene for a while, and you know, have some prestige that goes along with that. But Decay, you know, a little bit more recent to the scene himself, but has played with some fairly high up players and is definitely one of those people to kind of keep your eye on.
Yeah, definitely is. I feel like every single tournament, it just gets, you know, individually, on an individual level, the players just get so much stronger every time, you know. It feels like we have this conversation every single on European Masters, like, okay, there's so many stacked mids, and then it's like, next tournament, wow, there's so many stacked mids and jungles, and then it's like, oh wow, there's so many stacked everywhere. It's great to see the development in the ERL scene. The ceiling and the floor just continues to rise. It feels like you always have these conversations socially where you say top ERL teams can probably start to very comfortably contest, you know, depending on what kind of land you live in, up towards the middle of the pack in the LEC. So it's always great to see that the teams continue to improve tournament by tournament.
I mean, that's kind of what you want, though, out of this tournament. This is, you know, the breeding ground for talent. This is our nursery for up-and-coming LEC players. So this is where, you know, for some players, it's a chance to maybe re-spark or reignite their career and get themselves back on to that kind of big stage. For others, it's their chance to prove themselves versus those players who have formerly been people to watch. But Takeset is having a runaway, dodging out, holding the lantern as long as possible. Unable to do so as Inax will take him down. Beautiful little kill there for the French representatives, and with Akaben having that Rift Herald, they might just inject a whole bunch of gold into this Jinx here on the bottom side of the map.
Yep, Akaben just gonna take his time, go towards the Krugs first. He knows that he's practically alone here for now. Jaeger's making his way down, but you can see Inax trying to strip away at this tower. So Akaben, they have the opportunity now to quickly drop the Herald.
There it is.
We'll just do about that.
Akaben has to be careful. Does have himself the ultimate, gets caught out by the hook, pops the ultimate, pulled in place, locked down, and Akaben is going to get himself the bailout. Decay flashes away to make sure he goes down, and now Lilith will be looking for another hook. He's got the flay. Where's the hook? It goes a little bit wide, and Camilla is able to get away. They trade out a whole bunch of plates, but they do get another kill for their mid laner.
So they do. Silas, Decay picks up another one for himself. See if they can maybe make something work around him again. Remember, there are quite a few strong ultimates to set himself up for success. Now Lilith actually gets caught out by one of them.
This could be bad, but he's able to flash away. Inax is still here, shooting rockets over the wall. That's going to be a good ultimate coming in, and takes this rejoin into the fray. Gets the lantern out to safety, and Inax's damage is starting to ramp up. Schalke just able to get away for the moment, but Jaeger has found Chekelag. Chekelag is able to shuffle himself over the wall to safety, and Schalke won't be able to get anything more from this.
For now. Up a couple of return kills, but still, I think we talk about where the gold went, right? All of that gold going into the hyper carry win condition for Inax, full GameWard. Even though a couple more kills than you probably would have liked went into Decay's back pocket, gold is still worth picking up for GameWard. It's more about how Schalke will try and respond in the next couple of minutes now that Decay's picked up that Everfrost, and what kind of setup they'll be able to look to find on the map.
Absolutely. Seeing just Decay get back to mid lane, deal with that teleport coming in from Elite Joint. He did lose a plate there. Actually, will lose 2 plates to Melanek on that top side. So a bit more gold injected into that Sejuani, and it's starting to run away with it a little bit on the old CS department. Akaben has been caught out. Here comes Decay. Elite Joint's going to slow them down. Got the Tether to follow as well. Decay jumps forward. Chekelad's coming in as well, but Camillus has a big ultimate to throw down. Instantly caught out by the Everfrost, but the hostile takeover lands onto 2. The Rocky goes through the goalpost. Melanek's still alive. Decay hunting him down. Can't quite find him with a chain lasso. Hook goes wide. Lantern onto Decay. Blast going out to safety as well. You lose Jaeger, but Elite Joint finds the kill with the Inner Flame Scorch combination, and down goes another player for the side of GameWard.
All right, well, GameWard got a little bit aggressive, but in the end, the skirmish ends up going in their favor. I'll be honest with you, I'm not even sure how that looked like it should have been doomed, but I'll tell you where it really turned around. It's that ultimate from Camilla. You can see they're just trying to get on top of the blue buff. rather. They start to disengage. They need their members to come and collapse, and the health bars are just dropping so low, so quickly. But Akabane, I think, with the Gore Drinker, able to sustain up, make that turnaround happen. And Melanie just too damn tanky already so early on into the game. It's that ultimate from Camillus, which really just disengages a little bit too strongly. And then Deep Joint, Scorch, is it Airy? Airy's not on him. Scorch, which takes down Camillus. And at least walk away with 1 kill in trade after losing Jaeger in that exchange.
I actually want to kind of give a big shout out to Lilith there. I feel like that actually could have gone so much worse if he didn't have such a heat-seeking hook. It landed onto Camillus, who wasn't then able to get the 4-man ultimate, just the 2-man ultimate. I feel with that 4-man ultimate, that fight could have gone way worse. They could have lost almost everyone, if not everyone. But that hook into the Everfrost just slowed Camillus down long enough that he couldn't line up the ultimate to hit multiple people other than just the 2. And GW, yes, they're okay with the way they came out of that fight, but that could have been way better for them. So Lilith definitely stepping up here, and his fresh has been clean this game. More hooks hit than missed, to be fair, at least the ones we've seen him throw out. So he has been on point so far.
He's up where it matters, you know, when we've been able to see it on screen. He's managed to hit the mark. Doing really well again on a pick that we haven't exactly seen Lilith play in a little while. So, you know, definitely a much different look. I mean, of course, in general, Jaeger's playing in the jungle, so it's a different look for Schalke at either point that you slice it. But, of course, still playing pretty damn well. Still down several thousand gold, though. And the representatives doing what they do best, being up in gold. And that sort of 14, 15-minute mark, as per usual.
Well, Dragon did go down then. It looks like the answer coming in from Schalke is they want to turn their attention towards this Rift Herald. Obviously, no plates to take, but they would like to start looking to pick up some of these towers, maybe crack open mid lane, especially when it's the likes of an Azir in mid, who we saw last game how much they can stall out the game, stealing away the Xin Zhao ultimate there from Decay. And actually, this might have just been a cheeky leash onto the Herald. The smite's going to have to be clean. It's not going to be enough. And now Jaeger needs to get the lantern, but he is just in the bounce house. Melanic will take him down. There is going to be no opportunity for Jaeger to get away.
Yep, not at all. Too much CC comes down. I'm able to click on the lantern. It's always the pain. And you see that Thresh lantern go down, but then all of a sudden there's like 10 wards on top of it. Too many bodies to click. Unable to get out of that one, unfortunately, for Schalke. Now lose the Herald. GameWard. It's actually picked up by Melanie. So we'll see where he ends up dropping that, or whether he's just going to end up grouping with his team at some point. Of course, usually we see that one carried around by the jungler, being everywhere and anywhere they can be. But still, with that Herald in their back pocket, it now makes the threat of, you know, losing a fight at this next dragon, for example, particularly painful. Or, you know, it gives GameWard the opportunity, perhaps, to drop that in the mid lane, get priority, and then have set up around the dragon first. Yeah, absolutely. You know, you expect Melanic to be playing with the team as well. Is on that Sejuani. This is kind of what you pick it for. Yes, it has a pretty decent laning phase as well, but it's also, you know, this is just Sej becomes such a horrible frontliner to deal with. As check it out, that was a really good, nice little just shuffle there, just to bait out the lantern. He knew Takeset wasn't going to stand that far up in the lane without the thresh about, so lantern down does provide, you know, a minor window for punishment. I don't think they're really going to get too much with that, but the Herald comes down and everybody from GW come in. Maybe they might go for a second charge as well, because they're going to get this tower unbelievably low as they catch onto Lilith, has to flash away from the rocket as they continue to chase forward. They do catch the Chompers onto one. They do have the Sun Disc as well from Chekalad to make sure that this lane's not going to get pushed up any further. Does mean it will be on cooldown for the next dragon, however, so won't be able to just get himself instant priority on the mid lane or just hold the waves where they want them to. So Schalke going to be okay with that. They did lose their mid lane though, and it does leave a bit of a vulnerability to them, because unlike GW, Schalke don't have, you know, reliable AP wave clear. Yes, you have a Karma, but that's a Moonstone Karma. It's not going to be the most effective wave clearing machine from that Karma, unlike the Azir, who's got the Leandries and it's just going to cut through these waves very effectively now. You'll be able to indeed. Definitely a big range disadvantage as well. Schalke are at. They do have, of course, the ability to try and force engages with Jaeger, but where's the follow-up always going to be? The answer is you kind of have to look towards the Kate, and then he's going to have to kind of overextend himself. And at that point, you're just kind of hoping Takeset, Lilith, Elite Joint are able to play as a 3, follow up on that, but also not get jumped onto by Chekalad, by Akabane. getting themselves caught out by a glacial prison as well. We're still starting to approach the point in the game right now where we start to have to ask, what do Schalke try and do to come back from this goal deficit? I think we're starting to look towards picks, but it's GameWard that look for it.
Lilith's going to get himself immediately taken down. Inax untouched as Jaeger jumps onto him, but it's a double kill for the Jinx. And still 3 more members want to go for it. They do catch out. They jump forward. Akaban's going to go golden for the moment and stay alive for as long as possible. Checkerlad's come back. He has the shuffle. He has the flash. He may just go for it.
He's got
2 members delivered back. Inax remains untouched. They do find a kill onto Camilius as well. Decay, his health bar is going down slowly, but Inax is going lower. Can he find the lash? No, he can't. The stopwatch is there. The zap to follow, and Inax able to kite away, and his team just set up a beautiful fight for him to dunk.
Yes, they did indeed, and GameWard, unfortunately for them, they're not going to be able to go towards the Baron. Health bar's not high enough. So much gold earned from that team fight. We'll see how it kicks off. We're talking about how Schalke can maybe look to come back into the game with a pick of their own, perhaps play towards a side lane, do something, see what you can get done. It's actually GameWard that kicked this one off with Melanique's engage onto the he drops immediately. Jaeger follows almost immediately as well on top of that. It's a really nice ultimate to try and lock down Akbane, but he's got the stopwatch to kind of just not go down, unfortunately. GameWard starts to turn this around. Checkerlad comes in with the teleport, finds the shuffle onto 2 members. And at this point, the fight is practically done. Okay, tries to make a massive meal of it, though. He finds his first kill, is shut down onto Checkerlad. He tries to go towards Inax, but unfortunately isn't able to find the distance. Teleport comes in, Inax picks up the kill, the zap. Finds himself more kills, 401 on this Jinx now. 2.5 items in 21 minutes. And the pit that we were trying to describe Schalke could maybe climb out of just got a whole hell of a lot deeper.
It really did. Dragon's going to get picked up for GW as well. Still a while away from that soul, but they do find a Vi into the hook. The rocket comes in. Akaban jumps forwards, and the rest of the team are about. Checkerlad does have himself the ultimate available. Lilith gets caught out. There's a hostile takeover onto Free. An absolutely devastating fight. Decay able to break it apart and get the lantern away to safety. That could have gone so much worse. GW, though, going to be happy with that 1 pick onto Jaeger.
Yeah, they are. I mean, right now, GameWard, they're just working with more damage, and in that kind of team fight, you're funneling into Azir soldiers, into rockets from Jinx. That Renata ultimate as well just keeps them in place a little bit too long. Jaeger goes down now with no jungler on the map. GameWard, they're toying with the idea of Baron, but it seems like they don't really feel like purple work right now. So just gonna go back towards the mid lane, just clear out waves. Perhaps maybe some of these members are close to core second item completions. You can see Akabane could be pretty damn close to that force of nature. Actually, observers, I don't know, can we swap over to the total gold that they have? I'm not too sure. You can see the gold differences, of course, on the bottom side, but there you go. Yeah, so not too much gold really to be sat on right now to spend. There's that force of nature at the very least. That's picked up by Akabane. So maybe they just wanted a couple more item completions. Maybe they just don't want to, you know, overforce just yet. Either way, GameWard maybe look to force on the bottom side. It seems like they're pretty tempered at how they want to approach this for now.
Oh, they do in themselves an opportunity to kill out Camilius. He's going to buy himself the bailout, but that's not going to be enough. The Blast Cones use Decay, and Lip are going to be left alone. The Rocket comes in for the dunk as well, and they are going to continue the fight. Jaeger will go down. GW able to find themselves a second kill there. Pretty much a freebie. They've got all the pings on the Baron. They've got pretty decent vision to work with as well on it, so they're just going to move over to grab themselves this Baron Nashor.
Yep, the only thing they really have to worry about is Decay finding some kind of massive ultimate. And I'm not sure what guns Takeset has, but if he's got, you know, green, white, white, we can try and make some kind of meal of this, but I just feel like this Baron is too far gone, already half HP. They're looking for it. Something. Infernamolt's there. It's not that big, but they're going to force him off, Jake.
Ooh, good ult on to take set, but unfortunately nobody's quite there. Camilius is coming about. Actually does have a hostile takeover. They're not giving it up. Inax shooting over the wall, trying to finish it up. Baron going incredibly low. Jaeger is now here with the smite. Are Schalke gonna do this? No, they're gonna get free. The steal from Inax into the shuffle. It's a slaughter, and Schalke are run through by GW. A beautiful team fight, a beautiful ultimate, and a beautiful steal. Absolutely hero play coming in.
Oh, it's a meat grinder in the pit, man. I mean, you can't really fault Schalke for trying, can you? They're so far down in gold. They see a Baron's at 3,000 HP. You know what, guys? Let's flip it. I don't blame them at all. Down almost 10,000 gold now, around 7.5 at the time of this play. And yeah, unfortunately, even though they hold this one out until Jaeger shows up, it's always going to be a 50-50, and it comes down to a rocket plus smite. I'm not even sure who gets their smites in. But it's the final blow that comes in from the Mega Death Rocket. It looks like it's actually a combo of Akabane and Inax, and then as soon as that Baron goes down, Chekolad finds his targets with that Emperor's Divide. Divide and conquered, you can maybe say, but they were kind of just minced in that pit after that ultimate. And unfortunately, Schalke, I'd say last legs, but it feels like last legs were about 5 minutes ago. GameWard now with the Baron looking to press on and open up the base, you'd have to imagine.
Yeah, they're gonna look to try and get into this last tower here outside the base, and then it is on to siege duty. And this is kind of what we're talking about there. Lacking a little bit in the old wave clear department. They've only got that Karma. Obviously, you do have take set as well, but you've not got, you know, Yazir levels of clear, or as we saw in last game, the Corkies, the Azirs, you know, lots of wave clear available. Not going to be quite the case in this time, and GW are going to be able to take this tower down. The question is are they going to push for more here? Are they just going to reset and kind of take their victory with what they got there? But it looks like reset's cancelled. GW want to keep the siege up for now. They've got the pressure with the Baron. They've got Melanic on the mid lane, buffing up that wave and just pushing it and going to chip away that tower. Able to do a lot of damage to it, obviously with that demolish as well. And his cannon slowly but surely just chipping away at the tower, trying to line up a hook just to pull the cannon minion into range of the tower to be finished up. The second cannon comes in, the tower goes down, Jaeger slides in forwards, and there's going to be a hostile takeover onto 4 members. The shuffle back is Decay, trying to catch onto Inax, but Inax is not going to be going down. Stopwatch from Decay will not save his life, and a double kill comes in from Akabane, and it feels like the last hurrah from Schalke here has been cheered. Lilip shows us that he's still good on the fresh with these hooks, but he just doesn't have enough juice left in the tank. And another tower will go down. It feels like GW should just have done this. Inhibitor number 2 will go down, and they are going to push in onto these towers. We'll be looking to take them down, and take set not going to be able to do too much more here. Hasn't got the gun load out of hold, as he is going to get shielded up, but his Nexus can't be shielded. GW, in dominating fashion in under 30 minutes, are going to take down Schalke.
Yes, they are. LFL getting off to a strong start at the tournament. And I mean, yeah, obviously a couple of